ಇದಾರೆ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ಹಲೋ ಮೇಘಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
Yes, please.
Am I audible?
MSM? Tahira ma'am?
Yes sir, ಇದೀನಿ.
Enter to Bluetooth. Enter off. Enter to Bluetooth.
Sudeep sir? Sudeep sir? Sudeep sir? Am I audible sir? ಸರ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಶನ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಮರಾಜು ಸರ್ ಜೊತೆ ರಾಮರಾಜು ಸರ್ ಇದರಿಂದ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ.
Sir, what sir?
Sir, am I audible sir?
Yes, you are very clear.
Okay. What about the video sir?
The video is very clear.
Okay sir, thank you.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Video is also HD.
Okay sir, thank you.
Good morning to all. I think Girish sir also has joined. Correct.
One section on the login, sir. After that.
ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್.
Good
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ
morning.
ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ರಾಮರಾಜ ಸರ್.
Good morning, ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಹೇಗಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಸರ್?
ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
Fine, thanks.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಡೇ ಅಭ್ಯಂತರ ದಿನಾಚರಣೆಯ ಶುಭಾಶಯಗಳು.
ನಮ್ಮಿಂದಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಭಿಯಂತರರ ದಿನಾಚರಣೆಯ ಶುಭಾಶಯಗಳು. ಸರ್, ತಾವು ಇನ್ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ನಿಮ್ದು ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಇದೆ. ಐ ಸಾ ದಟ್ ಒನ್. I thought that you'll be busy with that. Anyway,
Yes, sir.
we are really thankful to you agreeing and planning to deliver today's technical talk.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್. ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ನೀತು ಆರ್ಎಸ್ ಮೇಡಮ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಬಿಡ್ಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅವರು ಅಡ್ವಾನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಶಿ ಫೋರ್ಸಾ ದಟ್ ಟುಡೇ ಇಸ್ ಎ ವೆರಿ ಬಿಸಿ ಡೇ ಅಂತ ಶಿ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಮಿ ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ಎ ಕಮಿಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್.
Yes, thank you.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಟು ಹರ್ ಸರ್.
Thanks.
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಕಾಣ್ತಾರೆ.
Sir, principal, sir.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಎಡಿಟರ್ ಸಾಹೇಬ್ರಿಗೆ, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ PN ರವೀಂದ್ರ ಅವರು. ಸರ್ ತಮ್ಮ ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಇಸ್ ಮ್ಯೂಟ್.
ಸಾರಿ ರಾಮರಾಜ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ನಾ ರೆಡಿ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ.
ಎಸ್ ಸರ್, ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
ಆಯ್ತು.
ಹಲೋ ಹಲೋ ಸರ್ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ, ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಸರ್. ತಮ್ಮದು ಲಾಗಿನ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಸರ್. ಲಿಂಕ್ ಕಳಿಸಿ ನೋಡಿ. ಇದೆ ಇವ್ರು ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಇವ್ರು ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ಕಳಿಸಿ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಕಳಿಸಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಲಿಂಕ್ ಕಳ್ಸೋದು
ಮೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಸರ್? ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್
ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ಬೇಕಿಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
ಯಾವ್ದು ಸರ್? ಜಿಮೇಲ್ ಸರ್?
ಮೇಲ್ ಐತೆ. Yes. Madam, we can start. I think it is already 82.
Good morning, sir.
Sir, good morning. Sir, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Harish sir, our principal is also here.
Good morning, Harish sir.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
Girish sir, Girish. Yeah.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಸರ್.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
So can we start?
Yes, please. You can.
Good morning. I'm Megashri, Assistant Professor, Department of Civil Engineering. Cordially invite all the speakers, guests and participants for celebration of Engineers Day 2023 to commemorate the birth anniversary of Sir M. Vishveshwaraya. Department of Civil Engineering, Dayananda Sagar College of Engineering, in association with Institute of Public Health Engineers, IPHE, Indian Waterworks Association, IWA, Bengaluru Center, Indian Concrete Institute, ICI, Bengaluru Center, has organized national webinar on infrastructure sustainability for a more resilient world. Now, let us have a glimpse of Civil Department video.
Why it is taking time? Now, check ಮಾಡಿ. Any issues are there? Voice ಇಲ್ಲ. No voice. ನೆಗಶ್ರೀ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ರಮ್ಮ. Please check the audio.
Yes, sir.
ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ ಸರ್.
ಚರ್ಚಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂತ If any issues are there, please start the program. Let us not delay. Madam.
Namaskara. Civil engineering is known as the mother of all branches of engineering. It is a broad discipline that unifies the specializations like environmental engineering, water resource engineering, structural engineering, pre-stressed concrete, construction technology and management, highway engineering, geotechnical engineering, and architecture and town planning. The Department of Civil Engineering started in 1979 with an intake of 60. Now we have an intake of 180 with 2 PG programs, structural engineering and highway technology. We have accredited to NBA from 2005. We have well-equipped laboratories. As you are aware, civil engineering profession involves planning, analysis, design, construction and maintenance of different types of structures for government and private sectors. These include high-rise buildings, schools, colleges, airports, dams, harbors, tunnels, all these. At the same time, civil engineers also plays a dominant role in wastewater management, solid waste management, biomedical waste, electronics waste. Civil engineers keenly observe and identifies the problems faced by the society and also develops appropriate solutions based on technical feasibility, economics and sustainability. Civil engineers are creative and yet practical. We have well-developed consultancy cell working closely with the Ministry of Road Development and Panchayat Raj, Ministry of Water Resources Department. Visit our college, department. Our research and development reflects what we are.
To facilitate the academics, consultancy, and research, the department houses state-of-the-art laboratories and computer facilities. All laboratories are equipped with modern testing equipments and latest design software to meet the curriculum and present industrial requirements. KIOCL Center of Excellence Lab provide researchers facilities to conduct research on solid waste generated by industries. having Sukritya Students Club, which is actively functioning in the field of technical, cultural, societal, sports, and other extracurricular activities. Under this club, Swachh Bharat program is organized every year in and outside Bangalore, emphasizing on clean and sustainable environment. Department is having professional body memberships with renowned professional bodies of India. Technical fest, conference, workshop, and symposium will be organized every semester in association with major funding agencies of India. Field trips and hands-on learning make concepts more memorable. Our branch that is more related to fieldworks have ensured to give the students exposure by organizing field visits to various places such as water treatment plants, construction sites, irrigation and dam sites, etc. Also, extensive survey camp is a part of the curriculum for the students of 6th semester. Every year, the camp is conducted for a duration of 10 days at Melukote in Pandavapura Taluk of Mandya district, Karnataka. Around 4,000 engineers have graduated from the department since 1979. The alumni of the department are a part of national and international projects, and many are leading entrepreneurs. To name a few, our alumni are rendering their service in Indian defense, Indian administration, politics, arts, sports, research, and academics.
Thank you, sir. All the programs are with the blessings of Almighty. We shall have a virtual lamp lighting ceremony now. Thank you. Engineers Day is a special day dedicated to celebrating the contributions of engineers to society. It is celebrated on various dates in different countries and regions around the world. Engineers Day in India is celebrated on September 15th every year, marking the birthday of Sri Mokshagundam Vishveshwaraya, a renowned Indian engineer and statesman. Vishveshwaraya was known for his visionary thinking and innovative solutions to engineering problems. He advocated for modernization and industrialization in India. Sir M. Vishveshwaraya received numerous awards and honors during his lifetime. Notably, he was knighted by King George V in 1915, becoming Sir Mokshagundam Vishveshwaraya. In 1955, he was honored with the Bharata Ratna, India's highest civilian award. His contributions continue to inspire generations of engineers and serve as a reminder of the impact that engineers can have on the progress of nation. We have a short video about achievements of Sir M. Vishveshwaraya.
the years, he gave practical schemes or advice for the water supply of many towns in India. These gates have stood the test of time and have been copied in other places too. He took out a patent for the gates, but he refused to ask for or accept any royalty from the government. Vishveshwaraya will be remembered with gratitude by the people of Hyderabad as long as Usman Sagar and Himayat Sagar reservoirs are remembered. An enlightened and appreciative Maharaja elevated Vishveshwaraya to the position of the Diwan of the state in 1912. Whether as engineer or Diwan, Vishveshwaraya's one aim was to develop the state. The highest honor that an Indian citizen could receive, the award of Bharat Ratna, came to him. In the citation, he was hailed as the father of the idea of planned development in India. The motto of Vishveshwaraya throughout his life has been, work is worship.
Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Ramaraju, Vice Principal DSCE and Head of the Department Civil Engineering to deliver the welcome address.
Good morning to all. Today, the Engineers Day. Generally, September 15th is celebrated the Engineers Day worldwide. We at Dayanand Sagara College of Engineering used to conduct the program in several ways, sometimes through jata or awareness programs or technical programs, field visits, something like that. One or other way, we'll take the technical programs and incorporate and see that the program is conducted successfully in the way Slovenia are leading trend. First of all, as we know, the earth provides enough for satisfy the every man's need, but not every man's greed. In the name of industrialization, urbanization, population growth, so many changes are taking place. Parallelly, technology advances or technology development is also playing a role. Here, when the technology come into picture, today's program, whatever we have proposed now, infrastructure sustained innovation for a more resilient world. Of course, whatever the infrastructure is taking place, how exactly it is sustainable? In simple, being the engineers, we have to think feasible, economical, and sustainability. Keeping that in mind, today we have arranged for a technical talk. First of all, I would like to invite our the senior engineer Girish, who is the present chairman of our Indian Concrete Institute, Bangalore Center, for accepting our invitation. Sir, you should know because Girish is a very adventurous man. He has done several works and he has got 2 postgraduate degrees. One is in law and other is in fiscal management. At the same time, his sector is very, very important. He's working in all the sectors. He served in the various countries also, specifically in the concrete field, structural engineering field and its management. And he has got his own company, he is the managing director for that company. That is the Girish Adventures. Where he is doing physically, after he becomes a chairman, we are seeing it is a vibrant, of course. Always I see Indian Concrete Institute is a vibrant organization, but it strengthened further after he became the chairman. Several activities are going on. Sir, thank you a lot for accepting our invitation and gracing the occasion, please. At the same time, I welcome you for the place for the event. I would like to thank the chairman of our Indian Water Association, Srinivas Reddy, in the absence here. At the same time, our engineer, Dr. Ravindra, is in the program. Sir, I welcome you because he is the chief editor of our Indian Water Association. Sir, I welcome you for today's event, sir. At the same time, I would like to thank our principal, beloved principal, Dr. Prasad, who is very cooperative and guidance. His guidance is always there behind whatever the programs we are connecting. Sir, wholeheartedly welcome you for today's evening. At the same time, in the absence here, our the Subhash Bhujbal, the president of the Indian Water Works Association, and Madhyalgan sir, the vice president of the Indian Water Works Association, and all the members, the IWA members, Indian Water Works Association, and IPH, Institution of Public Engineers, because this program is jointly organized with Indian Water Works Association and Institution of Public Engineers and Indian Concrete Institute and the NSR College of Engineering. So all the three members combinedly we have the joint hands to conduct today's program. I would like to welcome even first of all IPHE, Institution of Public Engineering is the major organization. The chairman of the local center, Malik Aradhya sir. Malik Aradhya sir, I welcome you for today's event because he is going to deliver the talk at the end. At the same time, I would like to invite all the IWA members, IPH members, and all the students and other members, students, faculty, because the strength is almost 97 now here, as on it is available since the virtual mode. I would like to invite all of them to for today's event to get benefit from today's event. I would like to tell some of the few words. When you talk about the industrialization, urbanization, population growth, whatever the changes are taking place, 1950 ದಶಕದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ DVG ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಡಿ ವಿ ಗುಂಡಪ್ಪ ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದ ಕೆಲವು ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿ ದಿಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಎಂಡ್ ಅಪ್ ದ ಟಾಕ್. ಪ್ರಕೃತಿಯ ನವರತ ಮನುಜ ತಿದ್ದುತ್ತಿರುವಂತೆ ವಿಕೃತಗೊಳಿಸುವ ನಮ್ಮ ಆಕೆ ಯಂಗಗಳ ಭೂ ಕೃಷಿಕ ಶಿಲ್ಪಿ ವಾಹನ ಯಂತ್ರಿ ವ್ಯಾಕೃತಿಸರೇನವಳ ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮ. ಹಾಗೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಚೇಂಜ್, ಹೊಸತನ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಹೊಸತನವೇ ಬಾಳು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಕಾಮನ್ ಫಿನೋಮಿನಾ ಆಫ್ ದ ಟುಡೇಸ್ ಮಾಡರ್ನ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಸತನವೇ ಬಾಳು, ಹಳಸಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲ ಸಾವು ಬಿಡು, ರಸವು ನವನವತೆಯಿಂದ ಅನುದಿನೋ ಹೊಮ್ಮಿ ಹಸನೊಂದು ನುಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಪಸರುತ್ತಿರೆ ಬಾಳ್ ಚೆಲುವು ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮ. With this speech summarizes all whatever the things we are planning, whatever things will happen in future, past, present, future. Everything will be, you can easily see in these sentences. Anyway, I would like to welcome all of you for today's event, and I conclude this verse. Thank you all. Over to Professor Megashri, please. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the warm welcome. Before we proceed on to the webinar, I request everyone to please switch on the camera so that we can take a photo.
Even students also, some of the students are also there. Okay. Then we can continue.
Thank you, everyone. Next, I request Dr. P.N. Ravindra, Head of Water Cell at KIADB, former Chief Engineer, BWSSB, to deliver the inaugural address.
Happy morning to all of you, especially to my young brother and sister engineers. My special greetings to Sir, obviously to Ram Raju, as well as Girish, who will be delivering a technical talk to all of us. It is a privilege for me to address you all on this unique occasion, Engineers Day. As everybody know, engineers are the architects of India's progress and development. Engineers convert the theoretical knowledge of scientists into practical, tangible realities, shaping the space we live in. Engineers are the problem solvers of the society. Engineers use scientific principles to design and build machine structures like bridges, buildings, water treatment plant, wastewater treatment plants. Our work is the link between the scientific discoveries and the commercial applications to meet the societal needs. On Engineers Day, we celebrate the birthday of a great engineer and also a statesman, Vishwesvaraya, who made a significant contribution in the field of engineering and administration. His work, his projects, and his dedication to his profession have been truly inspirational. His principles of integrity, honesty, and hard work are fundamental values that all engineers should aspire to embody. As we observe this day, it serves as a gentle reminder of the responsibility that engineers bear on their shoulders. The profession of engineering requires not just technical skills and knowledge, but also ethics and a dedication to improving people's lives. This day also encourages young minds to pursue engineering skills and contribute towards the growth of our country. In conclusion, let us utilize this day to honor the hard work and contribution of the engineers in various engineering fields and their vital role in nation building. Let us celebrate the spirit of engineering, and may we continue to innovate, build, and move towards a more sustainable and technologically advanced future. It gives me immense pleasure to inaugurate today's program, and I wish you all the success. Thank you all, in particular to Professor Ramraj. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for emphasizing on the impact of contribution of engineers to the society and delivering the inaugural address. I request our principal, Dr. V.G. Prasad, to deliver the presidential address.
Good morning, everyone. At the outset, I should congratulate Dr. Ramraju and his team, the Department of Civil Engineering, all the faculty, staff, and students. I think every year the Department of Civil Engineering commemorates Sir MV's birthday by celebrating the Engineers Day on 15th of September. The theme for this year's National Engineers Day 2023 is Engineering for a Sustainable Future. And I think the department also has organized a national webinar with the title Infrastructure Sustainability for a More Resilient World, almost matching with the theme of the National Engineers Day. We all celebrate this day with great fervor, recognizing the deeds and work carried out by none other than Sir MV, as he is fondly called, who was a complete civil engineer in all respects, joining the PWD department at Mumbai, later joined the Indian Irrigation Commission, and very effectively he has carried out a lot of irrigation techniques which were adopted in the Deccan area of those days, as it was called. He was responsible for patenting the design of the automatic barrier water floodgates, which is widely used all over, which started in 1903 at Kadakwasla Reservoir and later adopted in other designs of various other dams like Tigra and Krishnasagar Dam, KRS Dam, which is famous in all respects. He was very much known for his timeliness because he was an administrator, a great administrator, being Diwan of Mysore. He had a lot of intricate ideas, a highly dedicated person. And he also played a vital role in promoting the role of the Kannada language as the state of Karnataka later became. And he was also instrumental in designing the Jayanagar area, which was for a long time, which was one of the best locality to ever been designed in all over Asia, which is located in another than our South Bangalore. And I think just like Sir MV, each and every engineering student should dream of contributing whatever knowledge that you acquire so that you help the society to grow and sustain so that we meet all the requirements of the modern world as far as environment and society goes, to uplift the living conditions of the human beings. Management of the Dayanand Sagar College of Engineering always encourages all the departments to organize national, international events of this sort, so that students are benefited, their knowledge is upgraded, and industrial experts or academicians or well-known people are called to address the students so that they gain insights. And it is today's purview that the students learn from these insights given by these special talks or addresses by these eminent people. Today we have none other than eminent speaker, engineer H.R. Girish. I think his insights into how sustainable infrastructure will lead to a more resilient world will help our students to gain that knowledge and use it in their future career in all respects. As Dr. Ravindra mentioned, ethics, professional ethics. So we are all engineers, so we should know what is the ethics of an engineer. And I hope all students will pick up this and adopt this in your future graduation period as well as in your future career. I wish all the best to the program organizers as well as the listeners, students to benefit, and all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for emphasizing the achievements of Sir MV. It's indeed motivating for all our budding civil engineers. Once again, I thank you for delivering the presidential address. Now I request Professor Tahira to introduce our expert speaker of the day, Engineer Girish, to the participants.
A great morning to one and all. Myself, Tahira, Assistant Professor, have a great privilege to share the inspiring journey as a remarkable figure in the world of engineering. Engineer H.R. Girish has an impressive academic background holding distinctions in BE Civil Engineering from the University of Mysuru, an Executive General Management degree from IIM Bengaluru, a postgraduate qualification in Alternative Dispute Redressal from Nalsar University of Law from Hyderabad, and an LLB in Law from Karnataka State Law University. He is a unique blend of an engineer, a management graduate, and a law graduate, making him a multifaceted professional. Over the course of his 30 years career, Engineer Girish has worked in various industries, including information technology, automotive, manufacturing, and large institutional and academic infrastructure projects, primarily in the field of construction and infrastructure. His professional journey has taken him across India and internationally. His extensive experience encompasses planning, managing, and executing diverse projects such as industrial complexes, IT, and special economic zones, transportation infrastructure like underpasses, flyovers, grade separators, airports, hospitals, malls, five-star hotels, housing developments, commercial and recreational projects, and high-rise buildings. Engineer Girish has held top-level positions in renowned construction corporations. Currently, he serves as a managing director and CEO of Girish Ventures, a firm specializing in techno-legal consulting, innovation, and project management within the construction and infrastructure sector. He is an active member of many professional bodies. Notably, Engineer Girish has played a pivotal role in organizing numerous international and national conferences, including the recent Concrete Panorama and Deminar 2023. He has also worked to enhance the skills of Indian civil engineers and promote global best practices. His focus includes upskilling industry professionals, fostering technology adoption, promoting innovation and entrepreneurship among aspiring engineers and students, with a strong emphasis on resource conservation and sustainability. Apart from his professional achievements, Engineer Girish is a renowned master of ceremonies at live professional events and debates, including television panel discussions. Being a well-known motivational speaker, his philanthropic efforts have made a significant impact on society. In his leisure time, he enjoys golf, traveling, studying behavioral psychology, and undertaking DIY projects. In conclusion, it's a great honor to have Engineer HR Girish, an expert speaker for today's Engineers Day. We welcome you, sir. Over to you.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ, ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಇವತ್ತು today it's a very auspicious day for everyone, the citizenry, the ordinary man, if I can say that, but most prominently for the engineers. And when I say engineers, it is just not engineers by qualification, but it is also all the support staff and the teams and those people who come with a bent of mind of ingenuity, who hold Dr. Sir M. Vishweshwaraya in very high esteem. And therefore, today is a very, very prominent day for all of us. And it is just not prominent because of the nostalgia that we hold, because of the high sense of reverence that we hold, given his values of life, values in the profession, and most importantly, the values as an individual, which are worthy of emulation, irrespective of the timeline that we all pass through. It is irrespective of the generations. It seems to be something like the slokas of the Bhagavad Gita, which are timeless, which are applicable to everyone, right from school children to the people in the fraternity and right up to wise elderly people as well. So that's the reason that today is a great day of delight, nostalgia, but at the same time, it is also a great day where it calls for immense introspection on the part of each and every professional as to how far one has come and what do we do going forward from now. How relevant are we, just not to ourselves, but also to our families, to our society, to our country, to the world, and most importantly, since we are all beings which are just passing by, most importantly to whatever it is. It may be the nature, it may be the resources, or it may be even the non-living beings. So that's the reason that today is very, very important. At the outset, I'd like to thank the management of this august institution, the revered founders, Dr. Prasad, Principal, Dr. Ramraju, Dr. Neethu Madam, Dr. Megashri, Professor Tahara, who introduced me. There's a whole lot of, I would say, Illuminati, very enlightened people, Dr. Ravindra, Engineer Srinivas Reddy in his absentia, Engineer Subhas, Mallikarjun Aradhya sir, Dr. Vasant. There's a lot of people. In fact, sometimes I'm really worried about taking names, because if you take 99 names and don't take that one name, then it's not a done thing. And most importantly, the budding civil engineers, all the students who are present here. And once again, with great gratitude, I would like to thank this management and all of you, and the HOD, Dr. Ramraju, Principal, Dr. Neethu, everyone, for bringing me here. Now I'll start my deck. Share. Okay. Megashri ma'am, can you allow me to share, please?
Sir, have you tried sharing? Is it not? Are you unable to share?
One second. It says 1 minute.
I'll just make co-host.
Okay. Let's hold on a minute. Perhaps. Are you able to?
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible.
Okay, I'll just check if it's the same screen which I want to. No,
Sir, you open the PPT, sir.
Yeah,
You've shared your entire screen.
Okay.
Or you can just give share a window and choose the presentation.
Yes, I think that would be better. Just bear with me about this, please. I'm sorry about this.
Sure, no problem, sir.
Okay, can you see my slides?
No, sir. Sir, you have shared that window, the Explorer window, sir, not the PPT. You open the PPT and then give share.
Okay.
Don't minimize the PowerPoint, sir.
Okay. Got it. The point is, if I open it, I lose that button. Anyway, let me see. Yes, I think. Yeah. Yes, you can see now, please.
No. Now it's yes, sir. Yes.
Yes.
Sir. Yeah.
Okay, you can see
Sir,
my.
can you please move the slides, go to presentation mode and move the slides. So we will just check if the slides are.
Yes, I'm moving it. Can you see that now?
No, sir, not it. The slides are not moving.
Okay, stop sharing. 1 second. Because for me it's moving, but for you, I'm very wondering why. Yes, what about now, ma'am? Megashri, ma'am, now can you see my slide?
Yeah, we can see your slide, sir.
Okay,
Can you
now I
please
will
move?
Okay, now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I'll try to go to the presentation mode. Is it okay,
Yeah.
or you prefer that I go on this?
Sir, you go to presentation mode. We will check if it is moving. We can go ahead with the presentation mode.
Yes, I just gone there, and now I'm changing the slides. Can you see that now?
Sir, still we are unable to see the presentation mode itself. We are still in the regular template mode. So it's better you just move ahead.
Okay, right. Share. Fine. So I will go through this. Kindly bear with me. And yeah, now you can see the slides, ma'am.
Yes, sir, we can see it.
Okay, is it changing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for that a little bit of a glitch because of me. And as we start prostrating before the father of engineering, Bharat Ratna Sir M. Vishwesvaraya, that is revered feet, let's start with a few quotes of Sir MV. And these quotes are not just because it was quoted by Sir MV at that point of time, but these are very relevant, as I have been telling you. The first quote is, the way to build a nation is to build a good citizen. Majority of the citizens should be efficient, of good character, and possess a reasonably high sense of duty. In fact, this quote is so very pertinent, more so to civil engineering profession, because as most of us start our career, we start with diverse backgrounds and being thrust in different environments. That is where we always need to keep this focus and ensure that of good character we don't get swayed by the forces around that at that point of time, which may or may not be good. And most importantly, we should not lose focus. That is the reasonable high sense of duty. And then to give real service, you must add something which cannot be brought or measured with money. Just imagine this being said by Sir MV way back in the 1900s or early 1900s. And this is nothing but another definition of sustained innovation, the theme which is today. That is, to give real service, you must add something which cannot be brought or measured with money. And every man who becomes great owes his achievement to incessant toil. In fact, here it becomes very pertinent for us more so in today's realm, where a lot of students and a lot of people are getting bugged by the bandwagon of going in the software development line. And to that extent, we have got a lot of concerns as to what will happen to civil engineering, which is the mother of all engineering, as Dr. Ram Raju very rapidly put it in his address. Now, as we go about this incessant toil, we should understand that more so focused to the students. The students are getting enticed by the salary package. That is one thing. Second one thing is on the working conditions. I do acknowledge both of these in the initial few years, perhaps 3 to 4 years. But what we are missing out, the big point, are these. One is that this salary package, what you see in IT, don't seem to be the same as you grow in your career, because then the competition starts. And what happens in IT, as long as you go there as just a coder, then you start sitting with other degree holders, or perhaps sometimes even 10+2 candidates who have perhaps gone to an institute and done Python or C++ or whatever. And then you start sitting next to them. And then what happens to your 4 years of engineering training? Unfortunately, I find that a lot of them lose focus. Then why is it that 4 years of engineering training they need to do? They could as well have gone directly to some institute, started learning coding, and then landed up with a job. Therefore, one has to be very clear what the term engineer means. Most importantly, the engineering service to the fraternity, to the profession, and more importantly, to the society. So that is where this particular incessant toil comes. The second thing is that people say that the civil engineering, the moment you pass out, in fact, this was the case even with us, and it became very more prominent, perhaps 15 years of my experience. After that, I started building software economic zones. And some of these software economic zones were very huge, which in fact, just not our country, but the Asia Pacific region had never ever seen of that particular nature. I would like to recall my early days in the IT sector. When I say IT structure, it means the building of the IT infrastructure. That I was told that the IT engineering lab that I was building was the biggest in the Asia. And you know how much the racks were? There were hardly about 90 engineering racks and about 20 corporate racks. And I was stunned. I never knew that I was building a huge thing because I was so very focused. And those days, we did not have the racks which could support the new servers which had come in, called as the blade servers, which were having a weight of their own. And the normal racks that we got in the market did not support this 42U racks, what we normally define them as. And that is where I had to go to Jindal on Tumkur Road, discuss with them, and in fact, come out with a particular a mold sort of thing, so that, you know, these aluminum sections could be extruded out of it. So it was completely back engineering, and then we got the aluminum sections extruded, and then we took it to a very reputed international manufacturing firm, which is in Dodbalapur, which manufactures the racks, and we made a mock-up. We loaded the servers with that, and then we did a dry run to ensure that it can, withstand seismicity, it can withstand downtime, it can withstand the polluted enviro in case it happens to come to that. So this is an incessant toil that I'm telling you that initially when I did. And then later, when we opened up the software economic zones and the software parks, I could see that young engineers used to walk into these very swanky glass-cladded buildings. And in fact, when they went in the morning and came out in the evening, you could in fact retain the freshness of the deodorant which you used to wear. That was the pristine atmosphere. Vis-a-vis, when we as civil engineers were building the next set of phase 2 buildings, the morning when we stepped into the site, and within the first hour, we would be sweating so much that, you could perhaps say that we have been working for days. That was the situation. But let me tell you why I made this particular share with you is that at the end of the day, the sense of satisfaction that we got was immense. In fact, today when I drive past, I can point to those SEZs across the country. It may be in Hyderabad, it may be in Pune, it may be in Madras, Chennai, it may be in Bangalore, Outer Ring Road, Sarjapur Ring Road. So I can point and say that I was part of it, and it fills you with a lot of, sense of satisfaction and trust. And that is where, this is where the second saying of Sir M. Vishwesvaraya, to give real service, you must add something which cannot be brought or measured with money. That is so very important, because today you will be bugged by the concept of money. Money is very important. There is no two things about it. And the only way of making money is by earning it. Because if you try to do it the wrong way, then it is always like that, devil sitting on your neck anytime, ready to squeeze you because of your past deeds. It is like Vikram and Betal, Vikram should be always righteous. The moment Vikram does a mistake, then the Betal is up on him. So it is like that. All of you as youngsters should remember what Sir MV said, that as a good citizen, you should have a good character and possess a reasonable high sense of duty. And that's the reason now when I start narrating this, all these sentences which otherwise would have remained as sentences and proverbs start making sense to you. So the incessant toil today, I will tell you that when we started recruiting engineers, civil engineers with an experience of 6 years, 10 years, 15 years, you'll be surprised to see that we were paying them always twice what a software engineer of equivalent experience was getting. and that was on an MNC scale because I was also working for an MNC. Therefore, package is not something which you should measure in the first 5 years of your career. Package is something which you need to plan out. And secondly, you know why the main reason why many people across the world, if I may use the word poor, just for the sake of discussion, they remain poor. They don't remain poor because they do not earn as much. They remain poor because they are not able to manage finances and they are financially illiterate. Therefore, as I start speaking to you, I will urge all of you to wear multiple hats of just not being engineers, but also being somebody who has got a bent of mind for financial equipment. And now the financial equipment that you need to develop are of two natures. One is on your professional front. You must understand what a project finance is, how a project gets financed, what is the cash flow, what is the S curve, and how do you ensure that the contingencies that may arise. For example, if your client doesn't pay you a particular bill, but the progress needs to be maintained, then how do you rejig your primavera or whatever the schedule, but yet ensure that the project is on track with respect to the financial cash flow. So that is one literacy that you need to gain. And the second literacy is, of course, your own personal finance, that wherein you should be very aware. Now, when I say finance, let me also be very categorical to qualify my statement that I am not asking you to trade or do anything with respect to the financial instrument. What I am asking you to do is that try to get a little more handle on the body of knowledge of investments. What are the multiple investments? Was it worth investing that particular pie? Now, when you do that, what happens? The financial acumen on the professional side and the professional financial acumen on the personal side will come together, and there will be a overlap wherein it will really give you and open up your eyes. Sometimes when you get caught in a project as the lead project manager, or maybe even for that matter as senior site engineer, you need to take a decision, or somebody comes and challenges and tell you that why is it that you took a decision which has got impact on the finances. At that point of time, I will tell you a trick which always led me in good stead. Whenever I got confused and when I got stopped by taking a decision because I did not know which way financially, mind my term, financially I should go on a project, I always wore the cap of an owner of that particular project and said, if this was my project, would I have spent this extra money in that activity or in this resource or in that system or in this machinery? That's it. It was so simple. I would ask myself, if it was my money, if it was a 1 rupee or it is a crore of rupees, or it was say 10,000 reals, or it was say $5,000 or maybe $50,000, would I have invested at this point of time? What are the flip side and what are the advantages? I do a SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I urge all of you to please make a note of it. And after this, probably in the evening, you can go on Google and find out what this is about. These terms like SWOT analysis, the CPM, PERT, all these things should be at your fingertips, because when you go for an interview, when you start talking with these terminologies, then perhaps the interview will start, sitting straight in his chair or in a chair and start thinking, oh my God, this particular student is speaking sense. This student is relevant. These students try to, keep in touch with the other body of knowledge that are collateral to the body of knowledge of civil engineering. So this financial acumen is something which will come back to you. And that is where I said that you should also be good financial managers if you have to be good civil engineers. And then it is better to work out than rust out. Many of the people, more often than not, I will tell you that maybe after some point of time in their career, when they make a whole more amount of money, or they would have got the life going easy for them with respect to an indirect income coming in, with not a direct income but the indirect income, a lot of them plan of hanging up their shoes and things like that. Let me tell you, for a civil engineer, we are so very fortunate. There is no sense of retirement. Take Sir MV. He was working right up to his 101st year. Okay, he was working right up to the time when he could work. So there is no sense of retirement for a civil engineer, because civil engineer is such a fantastic. And now coming back to the scenarios, once you start growing senior as a civil engineer, when you have all this body of knowledge aggregated in you, then you start becoming a different individual, a more respected individual, where the world starts recognizing you. And lastly, remember, your work may be only to sweep a railway crossing, but it is your duty to keep it so clean, squeaky clean, that no other crossing in the world is as clean as yours. Why is it important? Most of you students, when you get into the career path of civil engineering, perhaps most of you would like to do a particular, deep dive into a branch of civil engineering, whatever it may be. Maybe some of you would like to go to the QA/QC, some of you would like to master the concept of HSE, some of you would like to go to project management, some of you would like to go to contract management, some of you would like to go to a technical execution team, some maybe to the coordination, and then some maybe to the entire project evaluation and what we call as the cost center. All these things start coming up to you. But whatever it is, you may not get a field of your choice. When you don't get a field of your choice, don't get disheartened. The only constant in life, forget the profession, is change. Today you got something which is not to your plate. Don't worry about it. In the times to come, it will automatically come to you. But only thing, condition is that you should always keep it in mind with sincerity that you wanted to go through to that. You want to go towards your goal. You want to go towards your goal. When you do that, then the entire cosmos will align to ensure that you realize. For example, some of you might want to be a very successful contractor, but you end up being in a different project. But when you start looking at being a successful contractor, perhaps taking small houses as material contract, maybe 20, 30, 30, 40, 40, 60 house, which is a very, very lucrative, which is a very, sensible field. If you may ask me, ask me which is a profession that I would like to take now, I would like to go into that micro, small and medium construction, because that is where 97% of the market, civil engineering market, is today in India. All these big buildings, big flyovers, big airports, all you see, they're fantastic. They are doing hundreds and thousands of square meters every year on year. But even when you put all of them aggregate, let me tell you, you'll be shocked to know that they hardly, come up to maybe 3 to 4% by volumes of what the promise lies in these micro, small and medium constructions, more so just not in the urban areas, but in the rural areas as well. You can be a road builder, a small road builder, not a big builder, not laying expressways. Perhaps you can do a USP, you can have a USP that I lay a road which is not more than 15 kilometers. I lay a flexible pavement, a bitumen pavement. I do a concrete pavement which is small. I do an interlocking pavement. I do a soil stabilized road. So you can build your USP, and then there you can also be financially very, very prosperous in that. But only thing is that you need to have focus, and most importantly, what the theme of today's webinar says, sustain innovation is something which you need to always inbuild into every step. Now with that, I will go to the other dimensional personality of Sir M. Visvesvaraya. Sir M. Visvesvaraya was a bureaucrat. He was also an industrialist, because he set up a whole lot of industries like Mysore Sandal Soap, the iron and steel factories, so many things. Okay, and then he was also a banker. State Bank of Mysore was founded by Sir M.V. And he was a guru to many. A guru in the sense that he did not go perhaps as much as to the whiteboard and start teaching the students or the engineers, but as much as he wore that sense of awe where, all the engineers and even those who came in contact with the ordinary citizenry, even they wanted to emulate him. His sense of dress, was so very excellent, simple and elegant that the moment we say, Sir MV, what comes, nim mansal en barutte, sist barutte. And he used to get up early in the morning. And that is where the term coinage that came in, get up, dress up and show up. Most of us, sometimes we feel that, okay, ivattu nidanak malkolana, ivat raja idre 12 ganteke snana madana, 4 ganteke snana madana, we can be unkept of what it is. We keep going with our night dress right from morning 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock that we get up, right up to night 10 o'clock, we are in the same dress. But I would like to say that if you want to be a successful professional, you need to be professional by heart. Get up, dress up and show up. Doesn't matter if it's a Saturday or a Sunday or a working day. If you have a commitment, get up, dress up and show up. If Dayanand Sagar College of Engineering has got a walkathon or a marathon, and they say that you should assemble at 6:30 in the campus for this particular road show, you should be there by 6 o'clock, dressed up and showed up. That is what you should be. And that is what you should emulate. The concept of, I am tired, I am not keeping well and all, most often than not, 99% of the time is psychological driven. You must also understand that for the first 20 years of a career, perhaps up to the age of 35 or 40, the generation of cells in you is multifold or exponentially more than the destruction of cells. What is tiredness? What is aging? The concept of aging, if I can bring an engineering equation to that, the rate of destruction of cells is greater than the rate of generation of cells. That is aging. What is youth? What is, good health? The rate of generation of cells is exponentially more than the rate of destruction of cells. Okay, so the generation and the destruction, and this is something, thankfully this can be managed. It is not driven by age. For example, last night I saw a very senior civil engineer who is in his 92nd year, and he climbed up the steps just like that. Why did he do that? He did that because of many things which Sir MV was to epitomize. It may be good health, it may be the diet, it may be the exercise, more importantly, the vision and the clarity of thought and good thoughts. Never ever in your career, when you're going, see, whenever there are two human beings, there is politics. Okay. Now there's something called good politics and something called bad politics. No matter what the politics, you keep your vision. You're what you are. Nobody can steal the ingenuity of you. Nobody can steal the merit from you. This time you work on a project, somebody comes and takes the shield and walks away. No matter. Never ever expect, like the saying in Bhagavad Gita, do your deeds. Do not expect the result. Likewise, when you do a project, put your heart and soul and do the project. Never ever expect results. Sir MV never expected the results. In fact, if you look at the life of Sir MV, he came up in a very tough way. I think at the age of 15, he lost his father, and his mother, Venkata Lakshmi, she brought him up. And then he graduated. He did his education initially in Chikbalapur, then came out to Central College, Bangalore, then went to Madras to do his bachelor's. Then he went to Pune College of Engineering, and then he went on. Now here, when we say that he went there, he went here, I would like to say, and all of you should remember one thing, Uddara agbeku andre, ur bidbeku. Okay? So just because you are in Bangalore, just because you are in Dodbalapur, just because you are in Hassan, just because you are in Mysore, don't expect your job location to be just across the road in a house or just in the next district. By God's grace, today healthcare system has increased exponentially, and therefore don't worry about your parents wanting your help because of the health. For the next 30 years, your parents will be in the pink of health. Because in our times, the moment we graduated, when we came out, one of the nagging things in our mind is that already those days, what was the expectation is the moment the son or daughter graduates, okay, oh, nim maga iga od mugisbitru, ina dudiyak start agbitru, now gedbitri ನೀವು, now you can relax. That was the thing. And the expectation was there. We had a commitment. But today, in fact, I'm surprised to say it's not that the parents have commitment from the students or children. In fact, the children continue to be, supported by the parents even after their bachelor's degree, which I would say is something all of you should ponder. It is not that whether they are financially sound or not. It is that the bachelor's degree is the basic degree that your parents are given, and that's it. Even if they give you 1 crore of rupees or 10,000 rupees, please keep in mind that you are an adult now. Okay. Unfortunately, we human beings, mankind is the only animal which has got the largest gestation of becoming an adult. No other animal, no other being in the history of the world will take so much time. 18 years to become an adult, 16 years. Nowhere. You see a deer, within the first 3 months, it's on his leg and it will start feeding by its own. It's on its own. Likewise, the elephant, in the first 2 years, it's on its own. The camel, the dog, the cat, they're all on their own. The hen, everything is on their own. But we take so much of time depending on things like that. That's perhaps something, and therefore you should be self-starters, just not in your profession, but also you should think, you should take a loan, go out and pursue your education if you want to. Go out to different parts of the world, different parts of the country, and don't have this ceiling and this barrier. But when you do that, you should keep the values of Sir MV in mind. What made Sir MV click? He was from Chikbalapur. He was from a very rural background. But when he went, even the Maharajas, he was made a Diwan, the Britishers, the government of Mumbai, everybody got up and saluted him. What was that value? He never had the lineage of a very charismatic or autocratic family. So that is what something that you all need to ponder, that you make yourself what you want to be. Do not ever put yourself at a disadvantage. Let me tell you one more thing. When you look at somebody and keep talking, never ever in your life, always when you look at the other person, think that you are inferior to him or her. And never ever in your life, when you look at other person, think that you are superior to that particular person. Everyone is a unique being. Everyone has got a USP, no matter how mundane or small job or employment he holds or how high level he has reached. Okay, this is something. Therefore, these qualities, at least a few of them, are necessary attributes to become a successful civil engineering professional today. These are timeless attributes worthy of emulation. Now, all of you might be wondering, is it the motivational talk or the talk on values, or where has sustained innovation gone? Let me tell you, my friends, that sustained innovation is nothing but this. It is about the values. You cannot dive into the technicality of sustained innovation if you do not have these values. Because what is sustained innovation? It is the sensibility you develop to the consumption of natural resources. Okay? Now, when we go closer to the concept of sustained innovation, you should be cognizant of the fact that whichever projects are MV he had the basic tenets embedded, which was innovation. No two projects that are MV were alike. For example, he created a block system of irrigation, and that was perhaps replicated in Gwalior, like in Tiagra, like one of the eminent speakers mentioned, and also in the KRS dam, but there were slight modifications. Every time he tried to do a new project, even the flood mitigation that he did across the Musi River, and then a lot of things, even the steel plant that he set up, Badrari Iron Steel Board. See, every time we used to start asking, do we have a better furnace than the Bessemer furnace? Can we treat the production of steel with lesser carbon footprint? He was so very advanced for this age. Okay, and then the frugality. Now you may observe that whichever projects are MV did, his raw materials never came from far away. For example, if you see the KRS dam, you know that it is not a reinforced dam. Okay, it is a dam where the mass of that entire earthen dam or mezzanine dam is standing by its own weight, and all those materials came from there only. So that is the frugality and sustainability aspect. And durability. You may be surprised, all the gates that Sir MV had, the radial gates that Sir MV had installed, were working in such a pristine condition that I myself am surprised that a few years back, unfortunately, I don't know why they took off those gates. There's no reason that they had to take off their gates. In fact, I wanted to go do a little bit of research and find out what was the thought process of taking out that gates in a technical manner. And I even wanted to go to the extent of telling that, can you present me that one gate as a memorial? Perhaps you can keep it in ICI or ACC or maybe all the institutions coming together. We can keep that gate as a model for all the future engineers and the budding engineers to see and see that, look, it is also a metallurgical, composite material, but look that it has not got corroded. And then the durability aspect, and then the fit for purpose principle. Now, whenever you do a project, always remember that after you complete a project, if it is not fit to be used, for example, a flyover or a bridge, you construct a bridge, a flyover, then after 5 years, you realize that the tendons are giving way or they are, and you have to stop all the heavy vehicles plying on that flyover. And then later you realize that only light vehicles can go on. Then what are you doing? It is a crime. As an engineer, as a civil engineer, you cannot afford to not have that fit for purpose. If you're building a small 20-30 house. In fact, I remember one of my friends who invited me for Graha Pravesh, and when I walked around this house, I found that it was a very contemporary house, very lavish house with everything component thrown in. And I knew this guy because he was my childhood classmate, and somehow at the corner of my mind I was thinking that Satish is not this type of a guy who would like to go in for such jazzy bungalow. It's a huge bungalow. And then I said, Satish, congratulations, man. You have a really, you have built your house in such a nice jazzy way. And he said, Girish, this is not my house. This is my designer's house. Because he did what he wanted. He did not do what I wanted. So knowing to him, he was a very practical person. He was so very practical that, for example, if you walk into the restroom, in the restroom, he said that normally we would like to have a small glass shelf which is away from the steam and things like that, so that if some people guests come there and they wanted to take say a syringe, maybe if as a diabetic and they are to administer themselves some medicine, they should be free to do that. Very practical thing. And he used to say that if I come out from the rains into my house, I don't know where to keep my umbrella. The entire house, I have to either take it to my backyard where the water keeps dripping, and that's it. And secondly, if I want to leave off my shoe, no doubt there's a shoe rack which is made. If the shoe rack is exposed, I'm worried, but my expensive sports shoes and all will get drenched. These are small things. For example, you come with two heavy bags from the shopping center, maybe vegetable shop or things like that. And when you want to keep, you have to bend down and keep. So rather have a ledge which also doubles up as a bench, wherein you can keep on that, and then you can open the lock. And when you open the lock, if it's an elderly person, you not have to bend. The lock has to be at that particular level. All these ergonomics, these are common sense. That jazzy house did not have these things. So therefore, the fit for purpose is something which is inbuilt in it. And therefore, you as students, you should ensure that the projects that you do are not some pseudo sort of a project. Sorry to use this word. It is not some cut and paste of 5-year-old project, some 5th batch which has passed out. Go to the library, dust out that particular project report, take it out, and then you do a nice graphics of the cover page, and then change the passive voice into active voice, direct speech into indirect speech, and do something, and then push it. ಬೀಸದೊನ್ನೆ ತಪ್ಪಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ 100 ವರ್ಷ ಆಯ್ಸಂತೆ ಆ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಸಾಕಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ. ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಡೂ ದಟ್. Plan your year. 4 years are very precious. Your day should start early in the morning. In fact, I would say in the Brahma Muhurta, where you get up at 4 o'clock, 4 to 6, you go through what seems challenging to you and become familiar. It may be the formulas, it may be the systems, it may be the theorems, it may be the working, it may be the body of knowledge of theory, whatever. And then you set off your day. Have 7 hours of sleep, no two things. Do not sleep during daytime, period. Do not sleep during daytime. It may be a Saturday or a Sunday. And it's all in the head. Oh, ಇವತ್ತು ಸಂಡೇ ಪಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಊಟ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ. ದೆನ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಊಟ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ದೆನ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ. ಯಾಕೆ ಹೋಗಿ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ನೀವು? Okay, so this is all what is important, and therefore the accountability is very important. Concept of sustained innovation was inbuilt into every project Sir M.V. undertook. Now, what is sustained innovation? It's an amalgamation of innovation and sustainability, and the act of continuously improving, as I said, your product, your processes, your workforce. Now, your workforce also, when you're working, ensure that your workforce is upgraded. You may be working as a site engineer. Your people like supervisors who have got a diploma background or ITA background, or maybe even the first mate, the overseers, the maestries that you come. You should ensure that the workforce also gets upgraded, and you should instill that scientific temper, that constant improvement. The concept of Kaizen should be there. And also you need to ensure that more efficient end results. Just because you got an end result now, do not emulate it next. Next, it should be like that Intel chip. Every time Intel brings out a chip, it is almost 30 times smaller, it is 50 times more efficient, and consumes 40% less power. Okay, you're getting the point? Smaller, more efficient, but less power. That should be the efficiency of your projects. And ensure high profitability. When I say high profitability, don't be greedy, be ambitious. There is something called value engineering. Therefore, you should build value, and you should be able to demand from the client that your project was costing 10 crores. I ensured your project got completed in 8 crores. That is value engineering. You saved 2 crores. Now, when you say 2 crores, you are duty bound to give me at least 50% of which is a crore, wherein you don't lose anything. You're getting a product which is having a 10 crore value and functionality, but you're getting it at 8 crores. Therefore, you're saving 2 crores. There's nothing wrong in you parting with me. And this type of strength you will get when you know the subject. We have done that. In fact, a lot of SEZs, they have partnered and say, yes, we will give you. And this is very common abroad. In fact, the FIDIC form of contract also, certain forms, they encourage this, the value engineering, where you split the profit that is got out of higher efficiency, sustainability, and various other positive attributes. And most importantly, let me tell you at the end that safety is paramount. Okay, don't be macho with respect to, for example, I can climb the this particular building just like that without the 3-point contact. I can do. If you are so machoistic, if you want to do wheeling, please go to the India-Pakistan border and do it, or the India-China border and do it, because there the machoism is required to tell the enemies what we are, but not on the streets of the cities and the towns. And when you want to be macho, you have to be having common sense. But in construction, there is nothing called machoism. You need to have a full body harness. You need to have the hard hat with the shin strap, and also the turret adjustment, so that when you bend, your helmet does not fall off. You should have the reflective jacket. You should have the safety shoe with the toe protection and the heel protection as well, and the sole protection. So these are some things. Safety should just not be for you. Safety should not be for your workmen. Safety should also be for the people who are around that particular project, or even for that particular driver of the truck who is coming from 2,000 kilometers away. You should ensure whether the truck is roadworthy, whether that particular driver is wearing a seat belt, and whether he is in good health. Many times, and especially our labor force, I will tell you, in one particular project, we had a health camp. We are surprised to see that a substantial portion of our labor force suffered from diabetes, blood pressure, and various other ailments. And that was a shocker. Just imagine if I am asking somebody without having their medical report to climb up to a 60-meter high tower and start working. At that point of time, his blood pressure dips. What happens? It is horrendous. You cannot think. And that person may be your own brother. He may be your own father. He may be your own son. He may be your relative. That is the connect. It doesn't matter to you whether you're related or not. Like the saying, if the surgeon or a doctor does a mistake, it's only one life. But if a civil engineer does a mistake, it is multiple lives, and just not one time, but multiple times. And that is where I would like to say that if there's a pothole on the road, you should find yourself so very criminally negligent if you are in charge of that road. Why should the pothole first arise? And if the pothole has arisen, why is it that you're not innovated to fill it up in no time? It may be, a lot of precipitation, a lot of rains must be there. So what? Develop a material wherein you take half a bag of material and just unload it into that particular pothole. And it's a self-leveling material. It hardens in no time. And then there you've got the pothole filled and that road is made more safer to the society. And therefore, some child which is coming home from school, some lady who is coming home from bringing vegetables or grocery, some elderly person who is going for a walk, or even for that matter, the breadwinner who is going on the road does not have to sustain an injury or unfortunately lose his or her life. So the sense of accountability and most importantly, the concept of safety should be there. Safety is not a materialistic endeavor. Safety is a commonsensical and responsible endeavor. Now, let me take a case study on this. Now, for example, if you look at Apple has ensured, the iPhone, okay? Apple has ensured that it continues to hold about 45% of the smartphone market. And how do they do it? They do not bring in new products. They only innovate their products. For example, they have released over 20 different iPhones. But even the first iPhone is compatible to the software updates. I'm sure most of you who use that votes for it. And almost, I've never known anybody who has used an iPhone say that, no, I would like to come on to some other systems. Though I don't use an iPhone, I tried using it, but I am full of respect to the thought process that goes into it. And most importantly, the innovative aspect which has triggered concept that he has come out with. And each release ensures that more value of existing market is placed onto the particular or service. And likewise, we civil engineers should continually improve our products and services, add more value to oncoming delivery than previous one, ensure accountability like I have been telling time and again, and take responsibility for the consumption of resources and follow thereof. You cannot say that I have brought a ton or 7 tons of M sand and I am the owner, I will do what I want. You cannot say that I have brought 20 tons of steel and therefore who are you to talk to me about the wastage of steel? No. It doesn't work that way. It is not your material. It is not my material. It is not the client's material. It is a natural resource. Please understand. Your child or my child will not even be able to see what is an ore if you don't conserve it for them today. Okay. And therefore, as civil engineering activities progress day by day, we are challenged in various ways, such as emergence of new materials, speed of construction, the various systems of construction, constantly changing, ever changing customer requirement. And most importantly, that all that scores over all this is the concept of sustainability. And when I say sustainability, the concept of resilience is very neatly plugged into sustainability. They cannot be separated. And therefore, let us see what is resilience. Resilience today is not a nice to have, but is a must have attribute. And therefore, resilience means ability to absorb shocks from various external factors beyond our control, such as the climate change, the dearth of resources, or change in the configuration or a character or the properties of resources. The durability factor, where sometimes, for example, the durability of concrete, if you're going for high-grade concrete, what happens, it becomes, if you're going for MAT press, and if you're not very, very sure of how you're going to manufacture, then the sustenance or the consistency of the design mix becomes very difficult, and therefore durability concept. Therefore, you have to keep all this in mind, and simply the ability to address change is what is resilience. And how does resilience helps in? It brings us better prepared for frequent natural disasters, and it also makes us better prepared for unpredictable weather patterns. For example, you might be seeing that we have seen storms. We have got a lot of areas which have got submerged in Bangalore because for the last 30 years there was no such precipitation, and all of a sudden it happened. Being prepared for long-time consequences of climate change and managing dearth of resources. Now, climate change. Recently, we completed the G20, and one of the points that it came out is that the world has set a target that the temperature increase should not be more than 1.5 degrees centigrade, and all the scientists shook their hands and say, how can it happen? The best we can do is ensure it doesn't go beyond 2 degrees centigrade, and that too, if all of us put our shoulder to the wheel and push the concept of reducing the carbon footprint, we can do that. But then let me tell you, dear friends, it is not 2 degrees, it is not 1.5 degrees. I think we should aim for 1 degree centigrade. And when I start talking like this with my, experts in the sustainability, they start saying, are you talking out of your head? Do you think do you know what it takes to reduce it even by 0.1 degree centigrade? And then I start asking them, think of the entire ecosystem. You've got these battery operated vehicles, which is fantastic. But then think, what happens to the recyclable of that batteries? Just think how these batteries are manufactured, how this lithium, how this cadmium, everything which has been, borrowed from the depths of the earth, how it has happened. And therefore, what are these natural resources? And here, we should now step back into what these natural resources are and why they are so very important to us. How, therefore, and when you start thinking and wearing your cap as an engineer, you will start going back into a trance of where we came from, who we are, what are our objectives here. What is this concept called human being? And therefore, today we feel that we are 4.55 billion years old with respect to the earth being formed. Now, it is very interesting. I urge all of you to go to YouTube and look up the ISRO chief's recent address in one particular institution, where he said that we have of late been able to study the entire Milky Way, the galaxies, the sky in much more details, which hitherto was not available to us. Thanks to technology, where we are launched very high-tech, telescopes in space. And now we are baffled to see that we are thinking that perhaps there may be only a few Akash Gangas, only maybe a few, Milky Ways, perhaps there may be a few thousands of suns and things like that. But then let me tell you, that is his quote, that let me tell you that our galaxy, despite being humongous in size, it is so nondescript that it is somewhere, if you can see my pointer. Can you see my pointer? Hello? Hello?
We can see, sir.
Yes, we can see.
Yes, you see this small to the left corner that I'm pointing? In fact, our Milky Way is not here. It is not here where we can see all these bright bodies. They are somewhere here, so nondescript. So he was telling, wow, look where we are, what we are. And then this is our perhaps only blue earth. But then this lends credence to the fact that perhaps there cannot just be one blue planet which supports life, which is at the right time, right place, equidistant from the sun, where it can sustain life. Now, when you look at the timeline, see, this is the time since about 5 billion years Earth was formed. And in fact, the origin of life is just about 5 minutes back. And in that, even we humans have just come about 5 seconds back. That is the scale. We have come just 5 seconds back. But then when you interpose this with the natural resources that is available, that we have, it may be the granite, it may be the water, it may be the metal ores, it may be the crude oil, it may be the naturals, it may be the minerals, the diamonds, the agriculture produce, all these things, you'll be stunned that there have been perhaps numerous ice ages. Perhaps there has been many collapses of the life forms wherein the biological being started sinking deeper and deeper into the ocean and maybe to the crust of the core of the earth, and then a new layer formed. Again, the new beings came, again they got crushed, and then going on, so on and so forth. The concept of the ores, the minerals, the fossil fuels, everything came. And all this, how much time it took? Billions and millions of years. It just took billions and millions of years. I'm just telling just with a sense of contempt, okay? Because now when we came, when to 50% of the resources, that has taken millions and billions of years to form. Can you seize this particular thought? Okay, it is like, see, I'll ask all of you to do one experiment. Go back home, get a pot, okay, and then in that pot sow some seeds of dhania, kothumari, okay. Probably kothumari takes the coriander takes about 15 days to 20 days to sprout and come out. Now, 15 to 20 days when they come out, you should be so very delicately watering them. If you water them more, it will immediately collapse. It will get mixed with the soil. But then after about a month time, after about 25 days time, you just yank off that and eat it in 2 minutes. 30 days, what it took to generate and grow this, you have consumed that in 2 minutes. So this is a symbolic representation of the way how much human being consumes. And human being is the only negative living species ever in the history of the earth, which takes and takes and takes and never gives back. Just think of it. A sparrow, it gets up in the morning. A crow, it gets up in the morning at the break of dawn, just goes around that, picks its food, has its fill, and it's done. It will never bring food and store it for afternoon. It will never cook and say, I will store it for dinner. And then afternoon, only when it is hungry, it will again go out in search of food. Like that is the case for all animals, even plants. If you put more water, the plants will wilt. Therefore, the plants take only that much which is required, but they always keep giving you. You trim the plant or the tree, it continues to grow. It continues to give, right? But human being is the only thing. Just question yourself. Morning, you go and have a breakfast. What do? The moment you go and open the tap, that water has come to you from hundreds and thousands of kilometers away. That water is now the pristine water. It has been filtered. Then it has been put through a pump. That pump is made of copper, and then the pump pushes. Then it has got a pipe, and the pipe is lined with, a material which has got less Manning's roughness coefficient. And then it comes, and when it comes here, you have to store it, and the storage has to be treated with waterproofing compound so that the storage unit does not leak. And then again, it has to pump over a time. It comes to your sump. Again, sump it has to. So you see, the moment you turn on, how much of engineering and how much of natural resources has gone, and these natural resources can never be recovered like this. Therefore, and even in your breakfast, you take your steel plate and you take your food. Again, your food, is it that you're just going to yank off the plant and you're going to eat? No. You have to chop your tomatoes, you have to chop your onion, you have to ಒಗ್ಗರಣೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಸಾಲೆ ಪುಡಿ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಣ್ಣೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕೊನೆಗೆ ತಗೊಂಬಂದು ಆರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಪ್ಲೇಟಲ್ಲಿ ತಿನ್ಬೇಕು. ಆ ಪ್ಲೇಟು ಏನು, ಅದು ಸ್ಟೇನ್ಲೆಸ್ ಸ್ಟೀಲ್ ಓರ್. It has been mined from the depths of the earth, brought, and then it has been treated. It has been brought to a stainless steel level, and then it has been punched with, heavy duty punches, and then the rim finished off, and then it comes to you through many hundreds of kilometers. So just ಒಂದು ಊಟ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ನೋಡಿ. ಅದೇ ಒಂದು ಗುಬ್ಬಿ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಒಂದು ಕಾಗೆ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಒಂದು ಬೆಕ್ಕ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? ಅದೇನ್ ಎದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬ್ರಷ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇನ್ ಎದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಟ್ಟೆ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇನ್ ಎದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಶೂ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ. ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ತಿನ್ನುತ್ತೆ, ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So the point that I'm trying to make is that we are what we are. We cannot, now just because a gubbi does that, we cannot do that. Just because a sparrow does that, we cannot do that. We are what we are, but we can be cognizant of that. That should touch in you. And that's the reason as Indian engineers, we are much more highly respected across the world, because when I travel across country, I get an immense sense of respect if I say them that I'm from India and I've done my graduation in India. You know why? Because there has been very rare instances of an Indian engineer, dropping the load of responsibility given onto him. He will never do it. Indian engineers are rated the highest with respect to integrity. Like I said, when I was describing Sir MV's, traits, that character is something. Indian engineers cannot be swayed. If it comes to it, they dare it. If somebody threatens it and say that you need to be corrupt, you dare it. Because we believe in the concept of karma. We believe in the concept of dharma. And therefore, this Sanatana dharmic approach is something which is very ubiquitous, and you should carry it in you. And that's the reason that all of us should always keep on getting in touch with the Bhagavad Gita. It has got nothing to do with religion. But Bhagavad Gita is something which can give you fantastic solutions. Like when I started doing my management, when I started doing my law, every time I read a sloka, I saw it in a different dimension and said, oh my God, this sloka has got so much of depth to it. So I urge all of you to start getting acclimatized to it. Now, the consumption pattern of the natural resources, because this is very important to sustain innovation, that between the 19th and the 20th century, our natural resources used in transportation and building industry specifically went up by 23 times. Okay? And in addition, we have stacked 800 billion times of natural resources already. And 2/3 of that is in the developing countries. And the developing countries consumes 10 times more than the poorest countries. Please mind that we are on our path to being a developing country. Let us not do this mistake which the developing countries have done to overconsume. Let us have the concept of frugality. Let us have the concept of being accountable, and the sustained innovation concept should come in there. For example, one statistics is that I'll try to put one UN statistics that the material footprint per capita that has tremendously increased in 1990 is 8.1 metric tons of natural resource for an individual needs. But whereas in 2017, it has gone up to 12.2 metric tons, which is 50% increase. And this is not my statistics, this is UN statistics. And in India, this can be more than, it cannot be emphasized any less. Now, how does consumption of natural resources harm us? Materials that we consume are not directly in pristine form. For example, granite. It's not that you put a crusher in the quarry, you crush it and bring it. You need to do a lot of processing after that. Okay, they are extracted and processed, transformed, transported, taxed, shifted across large distances, and our economy is built around natural resources. Therefore, if you deplete it, then you are done. Your economy will go down into a spiral. For example, the smartphones that all of us have, and even the laptops or the PCs that we are looking at, it contains so much of heavy metals and also precious metals like cobalt from Africa, copper from Chile, and aluminum from Australia. And therefore, the effects of overconsumption are the climate breakdown, increase in air pollution, and then it exhausts planet's life support system, which are vital. And then I gave you the idea of the sparrows. For example, today you don't find sparrows because of what some people purportedly say, because of the radiation of the transmission centers of mobile towers. Okay, and then the native seeds. Now you see that when you do some planting in the agriculture, there's a boom in crop, but that particular crop will not give you seed which can be reseeded again. Whereas in the ancient times, or just about 25-30 years back, if you ask your grandfather, he would keep a certain plot reserved, and he used to never harvest that particular growth there, because he used to say that Ali bitputra adu bija agutte, bitpudu, don't harness that. Okay, and then he used to take that same thing and again reseed it. But that has disappeared now. You'll be surprised that 30 to 40 varieties of seed today, we hardly have about 4 to 5 native varieties, and that is soon going into oblivion as well. And that is, it is for you and me as irrigation engineer, a civil engineer who goes on to do irrigation and so many other things, need to keep this in mind, because we also read about kharif crops, rabi crop and things like that. And unfortunately, we don't have the concept of irrigation engineering because of the 160 credit limit in our syllabus, which is so very, 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 very unfortunate. We do not have airport engineering, we do not have rail engineering, we do not have bridge engineering, all the engineering which are vital to the basics of these particular development of society is missing. Why do you think Sir M. Vishweshwaraya could handle all that? Because we read all this syllabus in our engineering. He read railway engineering, therefore he could construct. He read about metallurgical composition, mechanical engineering. He read about electricity, so that he understands what is a stator, a motor, how the magnetic flux works, how the electricity is generated, and therefore what is the impact of hydroelectric energy onto an impeller, and how it should be turned in order to reduce losses. So I urge all of you that don't restrict yourself to 160 credit limits. You do honor 160 credit limits, which is being prescribed by the university, but go one step more and try to master the other fields of engineering if you want to have a more vibrant career. Now, how do we innovate to ensure sustainability? First, you build it into every processes. Broadly, if you take our construction industry or a civil engineering industry, it starts with concept and design. You inbuild the concept of sustainability into design itself. Most of us do a mistake that it comes at the fag end of the execution life cycle of a project. When I completed 80% of my project on site, at that point of time, somebody comes waving a red flag or a green flag, telling that, we need to go green. We need to have this particular rating. It's a very shallow way or a myopic way of thinking. I think you should inbuilt into the very concept and the design. Every step you take in design. For example, if you are doing RCC analysis and design, now try to eliminate so many fins and so many elements. Why do you want it? Okay, try to minimize, try to make it simple, try to make it in such a way that if you want to mold a particular beam or a column or a particular structure, that can be done by minimalistic consumption of formwork. You do not have to do a separate formwork until and unless it's a landmark project, which is one of its kind. Therefore, build your design into your very concept of approach to design. Likewise in construction, the systems and processes, right from there. Don't go to the site and start shouting on the contractor to use the concept of sustainability and innovation. Build it into a contract document. Have that as a part of your pre-bid meetings. Try to ensure that you bear your mind in front of the bidder so that they are on the same page. They should not get cheated that the client did not tell me during the process of tendering. Now, when I am on board, having paid my performance security deposit, these people are not coming and shouting and sitting on my head, telling that I should go to the concept of sustainability and innovation, which costs me money. I am not averse to doing that, but please give me money, which the client doesn't give. More importantly, I want time, which the project cannot afford time or should, because our liquidity clauses are there. Therefore, you have to inbuilt into your systems and processes way back and just not in construction. And construction waste management on site, I'm not talking of demolition and construction and demolition waste. Okay, I am talking of the construction waste management. For example, you should know when you take a trowel of plaster and dash it against the wall to do the plastering, what is the rebound that is coming back? How do you handle that rebound? How do you decrease the quantum of rebound? Now, if you carefully say, for example, if there's a breakage of your solid blocks or your bricks, how are you going to handle it? For example, if there is a lot of wastages, the Bureau of Indian Standards permits wastage. Say, for example, 5% in steel. But then steel is a very, very energy intensive material. It has got a huge embodied energy. It leaves behind a carbon footprint. So you should have mentally prepared that say that, no, I will reduce it to 1.5%. Nobody is asking you to reduce, but you should have that sense of accountability to reduce. Okay, that is what is a true civil engineer. And then the facility management. Facility management should not go on using tons and tons of chemicals to keep, washing your facade, to keep washing your toilets and all. Try to think out of the way. Is there a nanomaterial which I can apply in the water closet, in my urinals, on my wash basin, wherein, the odor does not form and I can clean the toilet maybe once in 3 days instead of twice a day, which is the present situation. Because when I clean my toilet, I use a lot of other chemicals. I also use the brushes, which is nothing but nylon brushes, which comes from the depth of the earth through fossil fuel petroleum product. Okay, all these things should be integrated in our mind. Now, let me take a very classic case study before I walk to the end of my talk. That this I would like to give the credit for our CSIR, CRIR, Central Road Research Institute. Now, one way, for example, I'll take the example of roads. Road building today is so very important for the development of a nation, more so to our nation. Let me tell you, in the past 7 years, the number of road network that has gone up in our country, just in the 7 years, beats the 50% of what you have done in the past 75 years. And today, India is has the largest network of roads in the world, next only to US. I think in US it is about 4.2 million, and in India it is 2.2 million. We are catching up fast. But then this is excellent because when you have the roads, for example, from here to Davangere, today we can do in about 3.5 minutes, 3.5 hours. From here to Chennai, we are told that once the expressway is commissioned, we can do it in 4 hours vis-a-vis the 8 hours or the 7 hours which is being seen in the last few years. And then the Vande Bharat, fantastic train. It goes like that, 110 kilometers. Now, once it gets, settled, we're calling it as bedding in time, they will increase the speed perhaps to 130, 140 kilometers, thanks to the civil engineers who are so prudent to put that type of a rail, to type of that supporting structure, and the entire appurtenance goes to make a rail worthy of 150 kilometer speed, not compromising in the factor of safety. So when this happens, the road consumes a lot of natural resources. And when the road consumes the natural resources, it will not give back for a substantial time, because the roads today, for example, we build roads for what? 30, 40, 50 years. In fact, if we design a bridge in India for 100 years, in Japan it is 300 years. If we build a nuclear reactor in India for 1,000-year life cycle, tenure, the Japan is almost 3,000 years. It's always there. In fact, yesterday, my road guru, Mr. A.T. Samuel, was also reflecting very aptly on that. The life of a structure, the durability is so very important. Okay, and now coming back to the natural resources, you see that 66,000 kilometers in USA, 55,070 kilometers in India. We are there. But what is the paradox? Expansion of road network is extremely essential for Bharat, our country. But this also puts a humongous demand on the requirement of natural resources such as aggregate. The mass of the road, 80% of the road is what? It is aggregate. Of different nature. Okay, it may be GSB, it may be coarse aggregate, it may be fine aggregate with a bituminous or adhesive factor very less, the matrix being very less. Now, for road construction, aggregates, cement or asphalt, water, admixtures are all fundamental major requirements in addition to plant, machinery, workmen, finance, and the entire thing. But the conventional source is natural rocks. Rock mining is amongst the most energy intensive efforts, what I said. And therefore, is there an alternative to bring in? This is where the concept of sustainable innovation and resilience comes in. And this is where I give the credit to the CRRI. And you see, they used steel slag. And what is steel slag? Steel slag is you add flux when the molten steel is there to separate the impurities, and the flux attracts all the impurities to the top, while the pristine steel goes to the bottom, it is tapped off in a molten form from the bottom, and from the top it is skimmed off. Okay, and then it is dumped, it just flows, and you have got holding base where until it cools it is held. For every ton of steel we produce 20% of period, and the slag is extremely rich. It has got a lot of cementitious properties. For example, the steel production is only going to go up. For today it is 110 million tons per annum. In 2030, which is just about 6 to 8 years from now, we are going to go to 300 million tons per annum. That means to say we are going to end up with a huge amount of slag. And what is the negative aspect of slag? It consumes huge amount of land to be deposited. It also, when it rains, the rain infiltrates the water, goes down and pollutes the water table. It has got a lot of health hazards. It's a very unsightly, and more importantly, land cannot be manufactured. Okay, we have to manage. In fact, land is getting reduced because of global warming, and therefore most slag are dumped, leading to big solid waste problem. Now this is the steel slag, and this is where the molten metal is poured. This is the top layer, and this is how the slag looked after processing. Now CSIR, CRRA in collaboration with 4 steel companies, the DSCE Ayog, and the 4 steel companies I would say are Arsenal Metal, Rashtriya Ispat Nigam, Tata Steel, JSW, along with the Union Ministry of Steel, the government think tank that is Niti Ayog, the Council for Scientific Industrial Research under which the CRR Central Road Research Institute comes. I urge all of you to please go to that website. They've got fantastic material. Thanks and my gratitude to them. All this for the first time in Surat. They did this. A 2-kilometer 6-lane experimental stretch was laid, and this is at Hazira. If you go on an industrial visit, do not forget to see that. Go to Gujarat, you can go to the Diamond City, you can go to this, you can go to the fantastic bridges across Sabarmati River. As a part of industrial visit, you can have a look of all these things, and don't miss out this road. It's at Hazira near Surat, and this is what they have done. And the result, it is 30% cheaper than conventional paving. It is resilient and resistant to unpredictable weather conditions. A humongous storm also will not degrade it the way it degrades the asphalt, because the most terrifying part for a civil engineer who builds road is the water getting into the bottom of the asphalt layer, and that's where the entire disintegration. It is like a surgical strike by the water. If water goes into the subbase, it starts giving all the adhesive properties of bitumen is going to go for a 6. Therefore it resists that, and then it has got lower permeability. What is got lower permeability? The slag. And then higher durability. More importantly, most important is it is eco-friendly, and the industrial waste, where you're going to dump it, you're going to use it. And when you use it, you're just not using it, you're saving land, you're saving the leachate from reaching the water table, and it minimizes environmental impact associated with steel slag. Now they were so gung-ho, and the result was so very fantastic. Now the Border Roads Organization has decided to build the steel slag road in India on the China border. Okay, now the case study 2. The same August institution, the CRRI, we have this huge embankment, maybe for the railways or the roads or the expressways. So we have been using this pristine material. For example, we have been getting the soil, hoskote gravel and things like that from nearby places and doing it. Now when that is being done, let me see how I am doing with respect to my time. Oh, it's already 11:40. Okay, that when that is being done, you are consuming huge natural resources. So what they did is that they studied it SW1. It is a hazardous disposal of municipal waste, which is definitely not contested. A huge health hazard. The wind takes all the vectors with it and impacts the health. It generates vectors like mosquitoes and all types of harmful insects. And it requires a huge landmass, destroys land fertility. Food has to be grown. Fertile land is scarce. You may get land, but not fertile land. And the leachate pollutes groundwater. It emanates foul smell, creates huge carbon footprint, and most important, as I said, it is equally unsightly for cities and towns. And therefore, 65 to 75% of the segregated municipal waste can be used. But only one thing you must remember, that you have to grade it properly and choose those municipal waste. The leachate study shows that the MSW is a non-hazardous material as concentration of heavy metals is within the permissible limits. Ensure this in your preliminary test. And the embankments that they have built have gone as high as about 15 to 20 feet, which is 3 to 5 meters, which is commendable. And then your Proctor density has also given you good result. Okay, the field application of developed methodology process should reduce pollution, protects environment, results in sustainable road development and construction.
And how we do it is that the fantastic thing why I like this municipal solid waste is that I don't have to bring any special road construction equipment. My front end loader itself is sufficient, and then I do all the grading. Most of it that I have, that same equipment can be used. The compaction equipment that I have, that I can use that. Okay, and then now going to the way of sustainability, to conclude, innovate to alternate. Everything I said, that whenever you innovate, again go ahead and think the next time, can I have an alternative to this innovation? Adopt small construction technologies. If I am doing a road using the slag, the steel slag, I should have the common sense to understand that I just don't do a road. I also embed certain sensors, because always adopt this concept of preventiveness rather than cure. Detecting at the right time saves a valuable life in healthcare. Like that, detecting at the right time ensures the longevity of the structure, and most importantly, has a tremendous impact on saving natural resources and the sustainability aspect, contributing immensely, sir. Always adopt the concept of frugal engineering. For example, if you are a sportsman and you're doing a lot of sports, and then for 1 month you take a sabbatical, it is not that you should have the same about 10 chapatis or 15 chapatis like the way you have when you used to lift weights. Perhaps you can bring it down. Frugal engineering. So whenever, if it is only required, only then you consume. For example, the Honda CL cars, long time back I was told, because I was a automobile buff and I made a study, I got that very, very interesting and beautiful saying. All automobiles consume fuel, whereas our cars sip fuel. Okay, it takes only so much, which is optimally required. So the concept of frugal engineering and the lean management, which are two different worlds, should be incorporated in every step and every breath of yours, in addition to your thoughts. Okay, the safety, ensuring sustainability is a mandatory step at every step. Data gathering and analytics, big data is very, very important. Keep your documents so that tomorrow, if some concrete panel somewhere gives way, you can go back, trace it. Take that particular data and analyze what went wrong. And then the concept of Kaizen. Kaizen is a Japanese term for constant innovation. Has to be kept in mind. And therefore, with that, I've just given you two examples. And I'm sorry, sir, I'm not sure if I've overshot my time, but I hope that I've been able to do justice to whatever task that was given to me. Ellarge, again, Abhinandanegulu on the eve of Sir MV's Bharat Ratna, Sir MV's birth anniversary. And Ellarge, Dhanyavadagalu, more so for DSCE, Dr. Ram Raju, on the entire management team and the principal. Thank you, sir. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Your talk has actually touched almost all the fields, and especially the comparison of IT and civil engineering job cultures. Also, you have given numerous real life examples and challenges which you face during the execution of projects. And it's always an integral part on civil engineers to be resilient and prepared for natural disaster. It is also the responsibility of us to make sustainable usage of resources. So I'm pretty sure all of our young budding civil engineers will make they'll get most from your talk. Thank you so much. Next, I request Engineer R.P. Mallikaradhya, Chairman IPHE Bangalore Center, to deliver vote of thanks.
Thank you. Can you hear him? Hello?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. My first word is fantastic. Fantastic, again and again. Because whenever we go for a webinar, we will hear the same theories. But today there is no theory. It's only practice. So first of all, I should thank Mr. Girish, the Chairman ICI, for his well-toned, well-selected topic for budding engineers. At the same time, I should tell it is most required for the engineers, practicing engineers also, who are working in various departments and various companies. So coming back to my job of vote of thanks. So first of all, I should thank Dr. Ramaraju for arranging this beautiful webinar, wherein he has invited the best suited man to this topic. Sustain plus innovation. Sustain innovation may be a new word concept framed by Dayananda Sagar College of Engineering. Maybe it's a very good, which will be used in future for so many other things. So So I should thank him for arranging this beautiful and very, very innovative as well as very knowledgeable talk by Mr. Girish. So next, coming to our principal, Dr. Prasad. He has made all the facilities, to use the facilities in the Dayananda Sagar College of Engineering for arrangement of this webinar. I should thank Dr. Prasad also. And I should thank the joint participants who made available, who arranged all these good webinars. That is Indian Water Association Chairman, Mr. Srinivasa Reddy. And then ICI is also a part of arranging this webinar, wherein you yourself were there as a very good talk. I should thank you again for arranging this. And the other people who worked hard behind the scene, that is Professor Dr. Megashri, Assistant Professor Tahira, Dr. Neetu Aras, and all the department. And also, I think even now I can see about 60 to 70 students still hearing the lecture. So it will give a very good impression that the students are also very much impressed by your presentation, because it was beyond the college curriculum, it was beyond the regular learning. So you should thank each and everyone who participated in this, as well as those who made all these arrangements. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of Department of Civil Engineering, I thank all the participants, as well as once again, I like to thank our associating partners, Institution of Public Health Engineering, Indian Waterworks Association, Bangalore Center, ICI Bangalore Center for collaborating with us in conduction of this webinar. As coordinators, I extend my profound thanks to my technical team, Professor Sudeep sir and Professor Ujjwal sir for coordinating with this webinar. Thank you all so much for joining us in this webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.